to Solo and Smart. This is Carol Morrock. And today I have two very special guests. And I'm going to introduce Scarlett. Isn't she beautiful? She's 20. She's 25, right? 25 years old?
Yes,
Sweet.
I've had her 25 years old. She's
Sweet.
my cyber bird. She's part of my team.
That's right.
I also have Elf the Wonder Dog with me, but she's sleeping in her bed right now. She may come over and visit, but she's napping right now.
And so Scarlett, the individual sitting next to Scarlett is anti-hacker JohnE Upgrade. And shortly you'll be coming out with a book, right, Johnny?
Correct. It's called Don't Hack. And part of it will help just people at home, the home user. I'll have tips for seniors. I'll have tips for parents on how to keep their kids safe, as well as helping people get into the cybersecurity field itself, because we have 4 million jobs that corporations just can't fill. And a lot of it is because people aren't aware of it. So I've written this book over the last 4 years. It's grown to 500 pages now. And I think this is a good chance for me to really be a benefit for society. I thought I'd miss my chance. I'm in my 60s now. I've been retired for 6 years. But cybersecurity has become such a bad thing that I think that this will really help. I really appreciate being on. I love to talk to seniors since I'm one myself. I'm a solo senior too.
Yeah, great, great. Well, we appreciate all the help we can get, because heavens knows there are a lot of scammers out there trying to get our hard-earned money. And
we're the target.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So Johnny had actually, you helped your parents really learn how to protect themselves from scammers. And since Johnny has retired and he's been approached by many yourself, right?
Absolutely. Getting back to what you had mentioned about my parents, it really started to concern me because they were frightened because they'd get these calls that their Social Security payments were being cut off and their account was being frozen unless they pulled out their credit card and paid some ridiculous amount. And they called me and I said, don't even pick up the phone when you get an unknown caller, because 99.9% of the time these days, it's a scammer. And if it's someone legitimate, like your doctor, the caller ID will come up. But if it's someone that is a scammer, okay, it will never say that. It may have your local area code, but it won't be someone legitimate. Just let it go to voicemail. That's the best thing anyone could do, and you can always call someone back. I've never missed a thing.
However, they become so much more sophisticated these days, these scammers and cyber crooks.
Right. They're calling from India, but it'll have the name of your hometown that pops up.
Wow.
The number, and it's like, they're sitting right next to you, but that's just technology, and it's terrible.
Or you will create a upcoming Cyber DTV, is that right? Which will be your first streaming service dedicated to cyber training security, or cyber security training for the general.
That's correct. That's correct, Carol. It's going to launch next month. And what it is it's the training videos that are short that'll help people learn how not to get scammed. And I'll have quite a few for seniors, and there'll be some on just what I had talked about with Social Security, Medicare is another big one, the IRS, that scares people. And then I also will go into online dating, okay? For elderly people, the younger people think we don't want to date anymore. And once we reach to them, 50 is ancient, right? But I'd like to assure them, being in my 60s, I'd like to assure them that, we like company too, and we like to date, but unfortunately we're the biggest targets. of online dating scams. And what I would say is the big things for people to really avoid is never, ever, ever, ever send someone money for anything. You'll hear the worst hard luck stories. You can imagine that they have a sick child, a sick parent. They need an operation themselves. It's just crazy what they can come up with. But as soon as someone sends them their money, they'll never see it again.
That's why sometimes I even question these GoFundMe accounts. You know?
Should be questioned because a lot of them get shut down. They're illegitimate. I mean, a lot of times GoFundMe will not give the funds out because they get to the root of the problem. They actually investigate ones that get reported, and if they feel that it's not correct, they'll refund everybody their money, and that's happened more times than I can count. And scammers will use that just like they'll use the telephone. Older people like us, we're trained to pick up the phone, okay? Because when we were younger, there was no answering machine, there was no voicemail, there was our parents, you know, saying, pick up the phone, you know, and it would just ring and ring and ring. So with that kind of conditioning, okay, that's why we need to break it and just do not answer the phone. You know, that will solve, I think, so many of our problems. Just let that stuff, it'll take a weight off so many people's minds, because it did for my own parents, which is another point I would say to seniors is technology is overwhelming. You know, even me, I get things that I haven't worked on before, a new application, and it takes me a while to get through it, but I'm confident that I can get through it. For other seniors, I would advise for someone who has a family member that's technologically more advanced, that's your go-to person, and they'll be the one to help you. And I'd say the main thing anyone could do is to get antivirus software on their computer. And if you can't do it yourself, have someone in your family put it on there and set up. It's very easy to set up. And once it's set up, it'll just keep going and going. Extremely cheap. Nowadays, you can get like 5 computers covered for less than $50 for a year. Norton in the corporate world for 25 years, I think. And I actually use that personally too. And I'm not someone that goes out advertising other products and stuff like that, and I get no money for it. But I think for seniors, okay, the best thing they could do is to get Norton products, because they come in a suite. You know, they have VPN also, which is a virtual private network, and you can imagine it like you're walking through a tunnel, and to get to the internet, and the hackers are all outside the tunnel, and the tunnel gets you to where you want to go. And that's what Norton will do. And it'll warn you if you have any, suspicious activity. It'll clean any files that may get downloaded by accident. You know, we had talked about clickbait and phishing and stuff like that. So if someone has Norton on their computer, it will actually help clean all that stuff out. It takes a lot of pressure off someone, and it's automatic. As soon as you start up your computer, it'll start running and it'll give you a report right away. And with credit monitoring, they bought LifeLock. So if someone feels their identity is been stolen or is under stress, then I get reports from LifeLock if there's been any weird credit activity on my account. And that happens every day around the country and around the world. But for me, I get notifications maybe every month or two, and I can easily clear it up or stop it. It's not a problem if I know about it. If I don't know about it, then that's a big problem.
Well, let me ask you this. If a person doesn't have a family member to rely on for technical assistance, what do you or who do you recommend they go to, like a Geek Squad at Best Buy?
I would say Best Buy is probably a great place to go, because they're very talented. They do it all the time, and there's never been a complaint that I've heard about honestly, of a Best Buy Geek Squad person ripping someone off. Maybe it's happened, but it's definitely not widespread.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I do have a couple of questions. You can lock your credit with the three major credit reporting agencies at no charge. And so there's no need to pay anyone to monitor your credit. So you can also sign up for text notifications with your bank and credit cards. And my question is this a good enough practice that will shield one's identity?
That's true, but it doesn't cover everything. And
Okay.
I can think of a few examples where that would not happen. In fact, the Equifax break, the data breach that happened with them, they were one of the three credit reporting agencies. They got breached and 146 million customer records got stolen from them. So I prefer to have not just them, but I prefer to have my bank and my debit card monitored, my credit card, have a limit on that. And I get notifications instantly on any suspicious activity that they think is suspicious, but it's actually me.
Right.
I've been pretty lucky. I keep a very close watch on my stuff, and the less your credit is out there, the better for someone. They had asked about what if they lose a credit card. Okay, the credit and monitoring service won't be able to help with that. Okay, because that happens very quickly. They had mentioned that $4,000 worth of shoes and clothing and purses and stuff had been charged, and they had to fight with the credit company, to get it done. So if they have sort of a block on their credit card where stuff like that's out of their normal character, will be come right up, and they'll be notified, and they'll be able to stop it right away.
So do you set that up, or can a person set that up with their credit card company, kind of set up their criteria and parameters around spending habits?
Right. All they have to do is flip around on the back of their credit card, call that customer service number. Okay. All the information they need will be right on their credit card to get through. And the person that they talk to, they'll call them a banker, an agent, a representative, will walk them through it. And I actually say sometimes that, I'm elderly, I'm not that good with computers, can you help me? And they're very compassionate and kind, and they take the time to do it. And there's never been a problem, and I think everyone should do that. Another tip I have that I didn't put into the video that you showed the solo seniors was not to click on anything in their emails, because someone had asked about clickbait. And clickbait is referred to like interesting headlines, advertising. Some of it, you might want to see. It might be interesting, but if it's in an email, that most definitely could be bad for you. It could be a phishing expedition. Okay. Now, if someone gets an email from their bank saying that there's been a problem and they need to reset their password, and they didn't initiate it themselves, okay, that's a scam. Okay, that'll never happen. So what I have done, okay, is I've set up bookmarks in my browser, which is very easy. So if I'm going to go to my bank and check something out, I don't click through any emails. I just go to my browser, whether it's Safari or Internet Explorer or Edge, whatever ones that they have, Firefox, and I just click on the bookmark and I put it on what's called the toolbar, so I don't have to dig through it, and it'll take me right to my bank. And then I know it's actually my bank, because when you get these emails from the hackers, okay, they've spent money to recreate a site that looks almost identical to the bank, and they can fool you very easily. And you think, and what'll happen is you'll put in your password and it'll say it didn't go through, and then you'll try it again, and then it'll say, okay, thanks, that worked, everything's good. Meanwhile, the hacker has your password, you've never been to your bank, and people just think, oh, I'm fine. But obviously they're not. So the second big tip is never, ever save a password in a browser. It looks so easy, and they always ask, would you like to save this password? And say, okay, great. Well, if you lose your computer or it gets stolen, then someone that starts checking around with the history of it, they can just click on it and the password saved, so they'll go right in. And there's nothing anyone could do about it at that point. So I would say, never do that. And also flush. You can have someone help with this. Always like erase the history in the computer. Mm-hmm. Another thing that's very easy is to clear history. Never click on anything in your email that's a link. Always have a bookmark for anything that's important, like the bank, any kind of loans, anything that has to do with money, credit cards, and never save a password in your browser.
It never fails. It's always at a doctor's office or a dentist office or some sort of healthcare office. They need your driver's license and your social security number and it goes on, and your health insurance card. And I always hesitate giving them all this information. I mean, why do they need that? I just don't get it. Do you think they need that?
I hate that too. I don't see right now any way around it, but 20 years ago, I was getting bills that had my full social security number on it, and everyone was. And I know that because I was looking through some of them and I was saying, oh my God, they would send that. The social security number is the holy grail of a hacker, because if they get someone's social security number, that opens the doors to almost everything else. So that's the one thing I would say to everyone is just be as careful as you can with that. And I think there's going to be some protection laws against doing that, giving out your social security. I don't see a way around that with medical providers and such. They use that as ID because it's such an easy identification number. Everyone's got a unique one. And but I think that there'll be laws against that because of the crimes that are being committed if someone has social security. That leads to identity theft. But the bottom line is this: the most important tip I can ever give anyone is don't send people money. Don't answer the phone from unknown callers. Don't click on anything in your email, and try to be a little more cautious. Bring your family member who's more technologically savvy into the situation. Just following those tips are good. But we work too hard for our money.
That's for sure.
We live on fixed incomes as seniors, and that's why Social Security being cut off is so scary. Because if that gets cut off, we have, our funds may dry up for some people, or we have to hit our retirement funds.
Right.
And these people are merciless. They've drained some people out of their entire retirement fund, and they don't care at all. They don't even bat an eyelash. They just move on to the next victim. But seniors are the most targeted people in the world because we've worked our whole lives. We probably have more resources than anybody else. We have a lot of time in our hands in certain cases. Like I really don't have, I have no children and I'm by myself. So, you can get lonely, and they feed off on that, and they will keep people engaged in these texting conversations that go on forever. And then if you don't send them money, they start getting very aggressive and insulting, So I would say just try to really keep all of that, noise to a minimum. And if you're going to go online, focus on really what you want to do. If you're going to buy something, just go buy it. Right. So until then, solo seniors, we need to protect ourselves. And that's why Cyber DTV, I hope, will help people. And, it's going to be a 7-day free trial. People can just go and watch all the videos they want. I'll put some videos on
Okay.
YouTube on my channel that people will see for free also
Yeah,
that
be sure to
can
send me
cover a lot
that
of this.
link. Yeah, send me that link and I'll post it.